A lot of going home today. How's it look?
He looked fine in practice. We'll continue to monitor where he is, and more than likely he'll be questionable tomorrow. We just want to make sure we're being safe on how he feels after a practice day.
Trey and Brandon look like they may be able to go tomorrow.
Trey is also questionable, but he practiced today, so we'll see how he feels. Brandon, same thing, questionable, but he's dealing with some soreness in his toe. So once again, just trying to make sure we monitor guys and be safe and see where they are.
So just want to check. Trey practiced today. Yeah. Herbert and Brandon did not.
Herb practiced. Brandon didn't.
Yeah. Got it.
What kind of stood out after reviewing the film from the first preseason game?
I liked our defensive foundation that we're putting in, active, creating turnovers. Guys are flying around, contesting shots, and then we're doing a good job of rebounding the ball. Once we do that, we want to play with force and pace and get the ball up the floor and play pretty fast, which we did, especially for the first 2.5 quarters. We can clean some things up with our turnovers. I thought we just turned the ball over too much, but first preseason game, some of that is to be expected.
How pleased were you with Zion's activity on that end?
Great. He was fantastic. Came out and established himself right away. We kept his minutes down, but even in the 15 minutes that he played, he was a force on the basketball floor.
Are you looking to go to 20 tomorrow for those guys in that range? We'll see how it feels.
We'll bump them up. I'm not sure exactly how many more minutes, but we'll bump them. We'll continue to ramp up from here.
And you guys made the move to Jaxson at the 4 last year. You talked about wanting to be big and stay big and have that as a core identity. Is that going to remain a key for you guys this year, being able to impose your will down low?
Well, we'll continue to look at it. I thought Jaxson did a great job when he got in the game, especially playing with Larry. Those two guys playing off each other, being able to guard multiple positions, lob threat for Jaxson. We hitting Larry. He's a connector as a 5. So there'll be games where that's great for us. It'll be games where, we look at some different lineups. But the biggest thing for us is that we have depth and we're flexible. And so we can throw a number of groups out there.
What did you think of Dyson Daniels, in particular in fourth quarter, both ends of the floor, contributing a lot?
I thought he was really good. It just seems that as the game progressed, he got better. And defensively, he was sound. He's big. He can guard multiple positions. Once again, contest shots. And I thought down the stretch of that game, when it got close, he really asserted himself offensively. So it was good to see.
Coach, seeing so many different guys play well, you just alluded to the depth. Like, for instance, was it Jaxson? I think Devonte were leading scores at halftime. Does that influence you at all on maybe rotations for the upcoming season, maybe playing more guys than you would normally in the season?
It does. We want to use our camp practices and games to establish where we are. And I want guys to force me to have to make some difficult decisions. But if they earn it, then they've earned it. I need to put them on the basketball floor. And so those are the things that we'll be looking at throughout the rest of the games that we have left.
Just what you said about Zion, ramping up minutes, particularly his mentality of, it's an 82-game season, so he's probably eager. But what do you see from his mentality of wanting to play as much as possible?
He's come in ready to play. He's come in and, he dominated our first practice, and he's been continuing to get better. His conditioning is at a high level, but we still need to make sure that we're just not throwing him out here for 30 minutes at one time. It's sort of a ramp up from here. And, after missing a year plus of basketball, we just feel like that's the way we want to go. And so next game he'll play more minutes, but it probably will be, 20, maybe a little under 20, maybe a minute or so over, around that range.
This is a weird question, but do you see him as, if you had to choose, a leader by example, a vocal leader? What's his mentality just from a leadership standpoint from last year to this year?
Well, we just want him to hoop. We don't need him to worry about necessarily those factors. He leads by just coming in, doing what he's supposed to do every day, which he does. He's been great in camp, great during our first game. And that leadership quality will continue to grow. And once again, proud to see him back on the floor. We're all excited for him, and we just want to continue to grow from here.
Who would you say are the biggest vocal leaders?
Everybody has a voice on our team. But obviously CJ, he's done there. He has a ton of experience. Brandon and Larry, but we got a ton of guys that lead in their own way, and I think that's what makes us unique.
What's it like seeing Dyson's defensive instincts with such a young guy? It's
great. That's what we saw in him when we drafted him, is that his ability to guard on the ball, off the ball, get steals, be active in the passing lanes. But then offensively, he's not afraid. He's not afraid of the moment, and he'll continue to get better as the season progresses.
And you talked about guys making your job difficult as far as figuring out who to put out there, when to put them out there. What's it like, just the depth you have in the front court in particular, and how all of those guys kind of do different things?
It's a good problem to have. It's a long season. So every year I come in and tell our guys how important each and every guy is on the team, and they'll get an opportunity at some point. I like our group, and I like our guard play. I think we're fast, we're tough, we defend, and we can score. And those are the things we need to do.